Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope the show finds you in great spirits as it should. Because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. I hope you guys are all enjoying your Tuesday. Some of y'all might say this is a Monday part 2, but nonetheless, it is Tuesday. Okay. There is a lot going on here. And so I want to be able to talk to you guys about this new case that I have not had a chance to talk about, which I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys about. Sorry, one second. So, yes, we have some things we have got to get into. We got some things we have got to get into. So please do me a favor as we start to get into this conversation, because like I said, this is a new case for me. I know it may be a new case. It may not be a new case for a lot of you guys, but it is a new case for me. And I do want to bring some awareness to this case because there is a search going on right now as we speak. And we are going to be looking at that here in just a minute. It's pretty crazy and heartbreaking, this whole thing. And it screams a little bit, I mean, not entirely, but it screams a little bit of that Quentin Simon. Like we're keeping an eye on that trial that's going on right now as we speak with Leilani Simon. And of course, what she did, it's pretty insane and heartbreaking. And now we got some new stuff going on here with another person. This time, a mother, which is also very, very disturbing. So let's talk about this here really quick. Do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. If you're watching on other platforms like TikTok and others, please be sure to hit that like button down below. Show that reaction. That would really, really mean a lot. Let's not forget, hit that subscribe button. Please and thank you. Follow me on all my platforms, Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and on Rumble. I'm on all those platforms, okay? So hit that follow button. Don't forget to subscribe here. If you're watching on YouTube, crush that subscribe button on my main channel right here. Go to my secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. I just dropped a new video, some new updates revolving around the Menendez brothers case. So please be sure to go over there, subscribe, get those notification bells set to all on both platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. And a lot of times it's just breaking, and I'm just giving you guys the breaking news as we go. Okay? Of course, if you want to support the channel, hit that join button down below, please, and thank you. Check out my Patreon, and I got locals. First is Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show, and locals.com/The Pascal Show. Please show some love, support if you can. And of course, I got that merch, like this shirt right here, the Math Ain't Mathin', right here. T-shirt right now, available right now as we speak on pascalmerch.com. Get your tickets over to the website. Check out some merch. We got some really great stuff. Okay? All righty. Now we got to get into this. There's a lot going on, or there was a lot that has been going on with this particular case, this particular situation, this mystery, because right now, as we speak, there is an ongoing search for this woman right here. Her name is Suzanne Simpson. She has been missing for a little bit now. But what's interesting now is that her husband, Brad Simpson, has been arrested and charged. And now he's not being very cooperative right now because he is the last person to see his wife, Suzanne, alive. Again, there's a lot that's going on here. And now I'm getting to the stuff I'm getting to you guys the up-to-date information, and then we're going to work backwards, okay? Or we're going to start from the beginning and move our way up back to where we are right now. But I'm going to give you guys the information so that you guys are savvy to this whole situation. But there is a landfill search going on right now as we speak. This is why I said this screams Quentin Simon. Does it not? Which is absolutely disturbing because now you have law enforcement and the powers that be going through garbage, going through a landfill, trying to find Suzanne Clark Simpson with husband locked up now. Pretty insane. Okay. And of course, there's a lot to go through. There's a lot to try to understand. And so I wanted to give you guys, there's a timeline that kind of breaks down everything that we know of so far. We got a lot of videos, etc., to look at because right now they are looking for this mother, right? They are looking for this mother of four, if I'm correct. All right. She is 51 years old, Suzanne Clark Simpson. She is the mother of four. She and her husband, Brad, had children together. Allegedly, they went out this one particular night, and a neighbor said that they heard yelling and like a fight going on, seeing that Brad was putting his hands on her, kind of controlling her upper body in a way. And then she disappeared. But then there's also information, and I don't know if this is confirmed or not. I just heard it through the grapevine, of course, but saying something about that there was some sort of screaming. So another person heard screaming in the woods, in like some wooded area, right? And then, of course, the very next day, she was never seen or heard from again. And now they are looking in a landfill right now as we speak. So again, it is pretty crazy to think that this, I'm pulling up all the stuff, sorry. It's crazy to think that any of this has gone down the way it has gone down. And of course, hopefully she's going to be found here soon. But of course, this is we cover a lot of things on this channel. We don't only just cover things that are going on with the diddler. Yes, we do cover that. Yes, we are covering a lot of Diddy stuff because that Diddy train ain't stopping anytime soon unless he walks out free and he's exonerated, which I don't think that's ever going to happen. But I also want to let you guys know that there are other things, other cases that are going on that need some attention and need some serious love out here for sure. Okay. So let's get into this. This is a timeline. This is a timeline breaking down the they say the final hours before this Texas woman, Suzanne Simpson, disappeared. Okay. So, of course, the husband is now behind bars on charges related to the alleged events. Let me just blow this up. Sorry, guys. So that you guys can see this a little bit better. Actually, let me make this even smaller. Here we go. All right. So hours before her disappearance. So, because he was with her during all that time. And of course, there has been eyewitnesses saying, hey, we saw some sort of argument outside of their home. And there's allegedly screaming going on, heard in the woods. Now, that could be anything, okay? But that also could be something, meaning someone was in dire straits, and it could have been Suzanne, right? So Brad, the husband, 53, reported his wife, Suzanne Clark Simpson, 51, missing to the Almost Park Police Department on Monday, a day after she disappeared in San Antonio following a fight between them. Police said there was enough suspicion of foul play that they filed warrants for Brad's arrest. One for causing bodily injury, family violence, and another for unlawful restraint. He was arrested Monday and booked at the Kendall County Jail, where a $1 million bond was set for each charge. So, Brad and Suzanne have been married for over 22 years, and they have children, 4 kids, if I'm correct. All right. So here's a little bit of a timeline of what happened here. Okay. Because I know, like I said, I know a lot of y'all are already up to date, already savvy to this case. Some of y'all been known about this case, but for someone like myself, and I know a lot of you guys out here too. I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, okay, what I don't know about this case, or I heard it through the grapevine. I saw it in the peripheral, but I don't know really what's going on. So let's check it out, right? Let's learn about this case together. And this is terrible because at the end of the day, you have police suspecting this man of doing some very, very bad things to the point where they are at a landfill right now, going through dirt, soot, grime, etc., trying to find the possible remains of Suzanne Simpson. Just like what happened with Quentin Simon. Okay? Pretty insane. And now, because apparently husband Brad was being cool in the beginning, and then now he's not being cooperative whatsoever now. Apparently he was cool in the beginning, but then now he's been locked up. He's not helping out at all now, which is terrible. So here's the timeline. On Sunday night, Brad and Suzanne returned home after attending a party at the Argyle in San Antonio. A neighbor told police they heard the couple arguing that night between 10 and 11 p.m. Okay. He said the arguing became louder when he looked outside his bedroom window, saw the couple in a physical fight. That's no good. He claimed Suzanne was trying to get away from her husband as he kept pulling her back down. Interesting. The neighbor told police that it appeared Brad, quote unquote, was clearly attempting to keep Miss Simpson from running away, according to the arrest affidavit obtained by local news station KSAT. A short time later, the neighbor said he went back to check on things and heard screams from a wooded area near the home. So it was the same mother-loving dude that went to go check on things, and then he heard screaming from the wooded area. What is going on here? Clearly, something no bueno is going on. But then again, the screaming in the woods, I know what I'm saying sounds crazy, but it could be anything. It could be somebody playing, messing around, depending on what time it is and all that stuff. But a scream is a scream. So that's important information nonetheless, right? But moving on. Police say Suzanne was last seen wearing a black knee-length dress and black heels. She could also be barefoot. The neighbor then said Brad drove away in his black GMC pickup truck and left his house, returning 1 or 2 hours later. What do you think is going on there? But of course, he's going to sit there and go, I ain't done nothing. I'm innocent. Nah, this screams sus all over. On Monday at 3 p.m., the school where their kids attends called Brad to tell him that the child was still at the school as Suzanne did not pick them up per usual. So she is the one who usually picks up the kids from school. She didn't pick up. So they're like, hey, Brad, Suzanne didn't show up, right? Police said Wednesday that Suzanne, a real estate agent, had not been to work. According to the arrest affidavit, the school staff told police on Tuesday that one of the couple's kids said her parents had been fighting and that her father had aided her mother and taken her phone. Why would a kid say that out loud if it weren't true? So, the child also mentioned that Suzanne had a bruise on her elbow. The affidavit states that Brad had reportedly fled to his ranch in Bandera County at some point during the week and seemed to be distancing himself from his family. Police said he was uncooperative in their investigation and didn't attend a police interview. I mean, this is all bad. This is all bad. Do you realize that? This is all kinds of bad. Okay. So he's seen with Suzanne having a fight outside. Later on, it's heard screaming through a wooded area. Then Brad gets into his pickup truck and drives off that night. Then school calls and says, hey, excuse me, Mr. Brad, Suzanne hasn't picked up the kids. I guess that's when he finally filed and made the report of her being missing. But then Kiddo says that the parents have been fighting, which is obviously not good. And then he's now fled to another area, distancing himself from his own family. And he's not even helping with the investigation, nor did he show up to, I'm sure, a mandatory interview with police. So, okay, I know that things have changed as of late over a specific case that we've talked about before, but don't this sound a little familiar? Just a little bit. You know, we talked about Sebastian Rogers, the parents, and all that. And then suddenly, they just pick up in an RV, go off to Memphis to vacay. It's very interesting. S-Dubs, all I know is that there's 4 kids and the youngest is 5 years old. That's what I know so far. Which I don't know the name, the ages exactly, but there's 4 kids regardless. The youngest is 5. It's still terrible. Okay, because if they're looking through a landfill right now, this is not good, and this means that these kids now do not have a mother. And it could very well be that Brad is the one to rid those children of their mother, which is also devastating, right? But let's continue on. We got more. So, yes. So he didn't even attend a police interview. So that is a dead giveaway, in my personal opinion. Now, sure, court of public opinion, that's a dead giveaway. In the court of justice, does that mean him not showing up to this police interview means him guilty? I mean, to me, yeah. But at the same time, it doesn't automatically mean that. But it is suspicious as hell, to say the least. Okay, we can agree on that at least, right? We can at least agree on that. So let's continue on. Newsweek has reached out to the police department via email for comment. Okay, so let's get some information about Suzanne Clark, shall we? Because now we are at the place, just to add on to this timeline, okay? Now they are at a landfill. Now they're looking through a landfill. What the hell, right? And then also, Dom just said something that's interesting too. Dom's said, he was responding to another person, but he's got that money. His ranch is big money. Yeah, because I mean, he was able to hop out into his ride to go to a whole other property. So it does make you wonder, you know, how big is this ranch? Could she be at that ranch? When he jumped into his ride and drove off in the middle of the night, on the night of the last time she was seen alive by neighbors, by that neighbor and whatnot, did he go to that ranch? Because now this is not a rescue, it's a recovery. That's what it looks like as far as how the police are taking it. I mean, like I said, I'm going to show this to you guys right now. We'll come back to this article, okay? But look, right? So this is just a recovery. It's not a rescue anymore, right? So thinking about that, with all due respect, okay? Because she could still be alive. We still have to keep that on the table. Anything's possible. But erring on the side of the inevitable, erring on the side of the worst thought ever, could he have gotten rid of her remains on that ranch? Got to remember, if he just packed up and moved out to the ranch, and he's chilling in the ranch. And depending on how big that ranch is, if he's got a lot of acres, there's a possibility that he took her to the ranch. Why would he go to that ranch? Aside from him distancing himself from the family, because I'm sure out of guilt, I'm sure he didn't want to keep getting those looks from his family and from the neighbors as well, because for a fact they're all side-eyeing him right now. But also at the same time, could he be out there over in the ranch doing everything he can to cover up the crime, cover his tracks, get rid of the remains, get rid of the body, so on and so forth? Okay, I'm just asking the questions. Okay, don't get mad. I'm just asking the logical questions that I think that everyone would be asking right now too. Why would he run off to this ranch? Could she be at that ranch? Maybe they're looking in the wrong area. Maybe they're not. Maybe she's not in this landfill. But then again, she may be in that landfill. She could very well be at that ranch, y'all. If it's big, shoot, takes 2 seconds to dig not 2 seconds, but takes a little bit to dig a hole. That's possible. Just something to think about. Let's get back into this though. Okay? Like I said, I'm going to continue asking questions until we get those questions answered, right? I think that's the right thing to do. All right. Okay. So, yeah, little Patty, you really want me to play with the buttons, don't you? Maybe a little bit. Okay. But let us continue. I mean, I haven't changed. The buttons are still the same. Nothing's changed. You know what I mean? Okay. Nothing's changed. But I might do something. Just let me cook. Okay. So let's find out a little bit about Suzanne. Okay. This is Suzanne, of course. Just so you all know, she's 51 years old, real estate agent, if I'm correct, mother of 4. But it says right here, real estate. Okay, a realtor, I'm sorry, at a luxury real estate brokerage firm, Nick's Realty in San Antonio, according to her biography on Realtor.com. She's a mother of 4. She was born and raised in San Antonio and graduated from the University of Texas. Her bio states that she is very involved in her children's school and sports activities. I've also heard that she's a wonderful person. Neighbors and people say she's awesome, right? That she's a good soul, fantastic human being, lots of positive energy with her, right? Police describe her as white female with brown hair. If you didn't notice, she is Caucasian. I don't know if you didn't notice that, but yeah. Okay, but she is Caucasian. She has brown hair and hazel eyes. Okay, she is 5'5", and she weighs about 140 pounds. So, of course, if anyone has any information on this case or Suzanne's whereabouts, they are asked to call the Almost Park Police Department 210-822-2000. 210-822-2000. Okay. Now this is let me blow this up a little bit. Whoa. Hold on. What the hell? Come on. Let me just make this a little bit smaller so you guys can see. Whoa, that's too small, bro. But you can see this is like a screenshot of, I guess, a security cam footage or a ring cam or something like that of her outside the house before she disappeared. Okay? Just so you know. So let's see what they say. And that's about it. Okay? So this is Brad, who is locked up right now and allegedly not cooperating with police whatsoever. So, Texas mom, luxury real estate agent, missing after party at exclusive private club. Husband, arrested. All right. So, mother of 4 has been arrested. The father, okay, the husband of this missing Texas mom of 4 has been arrested after the couple allegedly fought Sunday night before her disappearance. I mean, that's a dead giveaway, right? That's a dead giveaway. They've been married for 22 years. They have this fight outside the house. And apparently it's big enough and loud enough that a neighbor went outside, looked outside to see what was going on, and saw an altercation going on. That's crazy. Now, one thing that's also interesting is, aside from, not only is it interesting that the two got physical and it was seen by a neighbor, but police weren't notified of this until 24 hours later. Okay, about her missing. So it's not like he woke up in the middle of the night and said, "Where's my wife? I don't know where she is. Called police immediately." No, he waited a whole 24 hours to make the phone call as well, which again is a dead giveaway of guilt. Okay. So a neighbor told police he saw Brad and Suzanne, of course, what we already talked about, arguing outside his window, and the two began physically fighting with each other. The outlet reported based on a police report. Now, this is what he was saying. The neighbor said he saw Brad grabbing her upper torso area to gain control of her body. And when the neighbor went outside, he heard screaming coming from a nearby wooded area. So I'm wondering, as far as the jurisdiction of where this fight was, how far away was this wooded area? You see what I'm saying? Like, what was going on? How far away was that? Right? How far away was the screaming? And, could he have seen anything? Did he see her run across the street? You see what I'm saying? As far as the jurisdiction of where this wooded area is, was it in their backyard or was it across the street away from the house? Then it's like, if you heard screaming in this nearby wooded area, did you happen to see him walk back? Is there footage of him walking back alone, depending on where this was, right? Where this wooded area was? I'm just curious, right? So the neighbor also told police he saw Brad drive off in his pickup about an hour later and returned about 1 to 2 hours later, or 1 to 2 hours after that. Now, again, I ask you this. Okay, 1 to 2 hours after that, what was going on there? What do you think he was doing for an hour or two? Going to the bar, having a beer, just, blowing off some steam, or covering up a muerte? I'm just asking questions. Because why would he suddenly just why would he just jump in the car and disappear after his wife allegedly is screaming in the back, in the wooded area? Thank God for this. I'm going to say it real talk. Thank God for this neighbor. Thank God for this neighbor. I'll say it out loud. Thank God for nosy neighbors. In fact, in this situation, it's not nosy. You're hearing screaming. You're hearing a fight. You're going to look out the window. That's not being nosy. That's just being concerned, right? Let's keep it a buck. That ain't nosy. Okay? You're going to look. Who's screaming outside my window? What's going on? You're going to look. Not because you're nosy, but you want to make sure you ain't going to get yourself in some sort of trouble too, right? It's for your own safety. But of course, we already know Brad has been uncooperative, and friends and family have been telling police there has been tension in the family. And of course, this is what somebody said in a press conference. There also has been, they've been saying that there's new revelations in regards to the relationship as well, saying that Suzanne has spoken out and spoken to her own mother, stating that there has been some sort of DV going on for a little while between her and Brad as well. And she said this way before any of this stuff went down. Okay. It's pretty crazy, but we got some things we're going to look at. Like I said, we got an interview from the mom, from Suzanne's mom. She of course is talking and getting asked certain questions about her whereabouts and what they, seeing what her thoughts are, if they think she thinks that she's still alive and whatnot. And what she says is pretty shocking. It's pretty heartbreaking. But we do have a couple news clips and all that, which we are going to look at here right now. So let's take a look at a few of these things right quick before we jump into before we get into where we are up to date, right? So let's take a look at this.
For more on that and the state of the case, I'm pleased to welcome back to the program Sig Christensen. He's an investigative reporter for the San Antonio Express News. Sig, thanks for coming.
Oops, wrong one. 1 second, guys. This one.
And maybe that is because the neighbor who says that he saw, quote, the physical alteration, also says he heard screams and saw Brad drive off in his pickup an hour later. The neighbor says Brad did not return for 2 or 3 hours after peeling off. I want to bring in Sig Christensen. He's a journalist for the San Antonio Express News, and he's been following the story from the beginning. Sig, I hear that Brad is not cooperating in the disappearance of his wife, but that they do have a warrant for his electronic records. Where do things stand right now?
I don't know about the electronic records, but they have consistently said that Brad Simpson is not talking or helping them. And of course, we're now in day 5 of searching for Suzanne. And that particular scene that you're looking at is a field in Bernie, which is only about 35 minutes from where I live. It's a small town outside of San Antonio, and it apparently is kind of on the way to his weekend retreat, which I was out at earlier today as well. That's in a town called Bandera in the Hill Country.
So as I understand it, she's a real estate agent. He's sort of billed as, I guess, some sort of real estate tycoon. They own properties, etc. Are they searching these properties? And why were they searching like the strip mall in an RV park area?
They must have had some kind of idea that land near the strip mall was a potential place that the body might have been. If there is a body, hopefully there is not. But they wouldn't be going there if there were not some sense of information that they've received. They looked in the park and almost the wooded area and almost park, which is where the witness said that he heard screams while coming from her in the woods. They searched that area and found nothing as well. So they're running down different leads, and so far they're striking out.
Sig, I only have about 20 seconds left, but I've also heard that they, the Argyle Club is so fancy where they were out for dinner that night, but that they maybe didn't have quite as much money, or he didn't as led on. And again, I only have a few seconds, but what's the story there?
I mean, if it's a financial talk, right? If it's a financial situation that led to this, it's that is very tragic. I mean, because I understand that there's a lot of people that are very much keeping up with the Joneses type of thing. They're living beyond their means financially, constantly just getting by so that they optically look like they are the pillar of success and the full embodiment of success. But I mean, just to think that could be a possibility is just mind blowing to me. But let's continue on. And shout out to News Nation they've been covering this for a while as well. I mean, we're looking at a couple of things from court TV to law and crime. I mean, we're looking at every single thing right now. So we got some things to look at. So let's rock and roll.
The story there is that he's actually been sued by American Express twice for really large bills that he did not pay. He settled in one case. He may have had money, he may have come from money, but when you're not paying your Amex bill, you don't have that much money. Something was afoot there. Nobody's talked about that.
Something's off, yeah.
Very quiet.
Diggity damn. Okay. Yeah. I and it's frustrating because because of this kind of thing, right? Because sometimes finances can really break up a relationship. Or make somebody go from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde. You know what I mean? It's tragic. It's very, very tragic.
I mean, if you're going to the Argyle Club, it looks like you have money, but we all know that you never really know. Sig, I'm going to have you back because this.
I don't know Argyle Club, but I'm assuming that's a nice spot with, nothing but drinking out of stemware, right? But still, it's sad, especially when you're busy doing the keeping up with the Joneses thing, and it just going to complete, just turning into a disaster because you're just running on empty constantly. You're full, you're plentiful, but then 2 weeks later, you're out again, right? And then you're constantly just playing catch up. And then, of course, that can cause a lot of stress on the relationship between you and the wife, or between the wife, you and the husband, or whatever it may be. It is terrible, right? But at the same time, I feel, money is energy. That's what I look at it as, right? You just have to respect it and understand that, hey, sometimes it's not as much energy this month as it was last month. And you just got to conserve the energy as best as you can, right? But living beyond your means can be very dangerous, guys. It definitely can be, right? So it's tragic, this situation. I got another one from the News Nation, from Banfield as well. Let me show you guys that too.
For more on that and the state of the case, I'm pleased to welcome back to the program Sig Christensen. He's an investigative reporter for the San Antonio Express News. Sig, thanks for coming back. Let's start with the ATF. Odd. I would not have expected ATF. I would have expected FBI. But what are you hearing?
The ATF sought that detainer because they were very concerned that Brad might be making bail. So apparently a friend of Brad Simpson's was out there and was moving to post a bail. And the detainer is basically issued for those moments when they think someone is going to be released, and the feds want to make sure that person is not released. And so that was why it's coming down the pike. Maybe we'll know tomorrow more about what was behind their rationale for it. But that is what I'm told their thinking was.
So let's talk about the landfill. I said off the top of the show, that's when I just get chills in a case of a missing person when they start searching the landfill. Do you know if they had cadaver dogs out at the landfill? Do you know if they found anything?
I'm not due to go there until tomorrow morning, so I wasn't there this afternoon. I don't know if they had dogs. That would be a logical step if they really thought this was the right place. But, they've already struck out in a couple other locations here, places that would have been logical places. The place, the wooded area directly adjacent to their residence. And then there was an area in another town about 20 minutes away from here. They searched there Saturday, I believe, and came up with nothing. So this could have some evidence behind it, or it could just be striking out blindly.
Question about these kids. There are 4 kids. Dad is locked up, $2 million bail. And like you said, ATF stepped in. It's unlikely he's going to get out anytime soon. He's got lots of enemies. We've read about that. Neighbor says he saw something pretty darn indicting going on in the front lawn before she disappeared. And you've got these kids. Like, I think there's a 20-year-old girl, an 18-year-old girl. I think there's a 15-year-old boy maybe, and a 5-year-old girl. Where are they? Who's looking after these kids?
Again, the fact that they're holding him, which of course is good because we don't want him out. It is interesting to hear that he has enemies, right? I got enemies, got a lot of enemies. That's very interesting. In my personal opinion, he's got some enemies out there. So he doesn't sound too great. He doesn't sound like a good old boy. Okay, since this is Texas, he doesn't seem like the good old boy that that I'm sure he wants everybody to think of him as. This is not good. But then in his mind, maybe he realizes that if they don't find her, they can't maybe in his mind he thinks they can't press charges on him. You know, they can't stick anything to him, which is also not entirely true. So I don't know. It just the smirk on his face is terrible as well. Okay. Terrible.
That's a good question. I was over there in the neighborhood over the weekend. There were a bunch of cars at their residence. I went up to Bandera, where Brad Simpson had a home that he built and bought the land for through an LLC. And that particular place actually had people in it. There were two people, an elderly couple, and what looked like a 5-year-old girl sitting in the living room. I don't know if that was her. I can tell you that it struck me as being almost certain that these people were relatives or good friends, because the woman told me Brad does not live here, and she slammed the door in my face.
It's so upsetting when you think about the kids, especially when overnight their worlds were just turned upside down. Mom's not coming back, it seems. Dad's likely not going to do well in this story either.
Again, yeah. I mean, this is really sad that the family is basically torn apart because of, I mean, let's be real. Husby's wrongdoing? Husby doing bad here? I mean, that's the question I guess I leave up to you guys. But in my personal opinion, he did this, but that's just me shooting from the hip. Okay. And also the fact that there are other properties that he has. There's potential of him moving the remains somewhere. And maybe they're not looking in the area that they should be looking at. But then again, that's just my theory. When I hear about somebody owning properties and then, of course, a person going missing, like the spouse owning properties and then their wife, the husband owns properties and the wife goes missing, I instantly go check the properties, check all of them. If there's been a fresh coat of paint in an area, look into it. If there's new concrete that has been suddenly just poured, laid out in an area, drill it through. I don't care. Instantly, I would think something's up, right? Instantly, I'm thinking something's up. That's just me, though, right? That's just me. And then, of course, yes, Nicole B., let's not forget that. Okay, let's not forget that. Okay? Wow. Oh, wrong thing. Do I have it now?
Yeah. The silence speaks volumes.
Okay.
So yeah, the volume or the the volume, the silence speaks volumes. Okay? For sure. You ain't gonna say nothing? That's a dead giveaway. You're not willing to work with police to try to find the love of your life, the mother of your children? That's crazy to me. That to me is dead giveaway. Okay? But let's continue on. They already talked about it in that video or in the conversation that we just shared about them doing a search for the landfill, but we got to get into that, of course, too. Okay? But they are looking into things. Authorities are searching a landfill, in this case of Suzanne Simpson. Okay? A search at the southeast Bexar County landfill for evidence in Suzanne Simpson's disappearance was tied to a sealed search warrant, according to sources familiar with the investigation. Okay. The search warrant was signed on Saturday after it was filed by the Texas Department of Public Safety. Okay. So the TDPS said that the landfill is one of 4 areas they searched in connection with Simpson. That's so crazy. So I just have to repeat this again. This is one of 4 areas that they're searching. And the thing is this man knows exactly where she went. Bear? That's how it says Bear? That's how it's pronounced? My bad. Sorry about that, guys. Bear. It just says Beck. It'd be Xar. You know what I mean? But they got to make it all weird. Okay. They got to make it all difficult. Okay. By throwing in an X. Oh, let's be unique. Right? Let's throw an X in the middle of the word bear. So everybody mixes it up and messes it up. But yeah, Bear County. Thank you, guys. Okay. Bexar County. All right. I think that's their way of finding out if somebody's local or not. If you local, you know it's Bear. But if it's like, oh yeah, I live right here in Bexar. Oh, he's lying. That's instant. That's an instant. So what are you doing in this town here, sir? You're not really from here, sir. So what are you doing here, sir? What are you doing here in Bear County, sir? Just saying. Okay. But Garrett said, I like the shirt. Thank you so much. Quick little thing. Thank you so much. Okay. You can go check this out. Let me take this down. Thank you, Garrett. The Math Ain't Math, and go check it out. It is available right now on PascalMerch.com. Get your tookus over there and get yourself some stuff. We got some holiday stuff coming up very, very soon, aside from Halloween, because Halloween is it's fastly approaching, all right? So, that stuff is going to be starting to get pushed out and moved out of the way here soon, and we're going to be pushing a lot of holiday stuff. So just so you know, okay? This is new, this is out right now. Math Ain't Math, and go get you some, okay? Put it on your skin. You'll love it. But moving back to Bear County. Hell is wrong with you saying Bexar? I didn't say no Bexar. You guys, y'all had a stroke. That's what happened. Y'all unifiably had a stroke at the same time. And you thought you heard me say Bexar. Let's get into this, though. Bear County. So according to Texas DPS, they concluded their search on Monday, but will return on Tuesday, which they are doing right now as we speak. Sealed warrants are common in federal cases, but are rarely used in county cases. The seal can remain in place for up to 31 days and only can be used if an attorney establishes in court that publicly disclosing the contents of the case would harm the case. So he's been arrested. The husband was arrested early Wednesday, October 9th, so last week, and booked in the Kendall County Jail on charges of causing bodily injury, family violence, and unlawful restraint, records show. Now, I'm wondering what the causing the bodily injury, we already know about that. But unlawful restraint, I'm wondering what they know. What more do they know about that piece? Okay, that's one thing I am quite curious about. Okay, following the following day, he was transferred to Bear County Jail, where he remains on a $2 million bond. And he should stay there for good. Because I do think that this man is a flight risk. That's just what I think. That's just what I truly believe in my heart of hearts. So on Friday, multiple agencies searched an area along Interstate 10 in Bourne. Hopefully I'm saying that correct, unless that's xylophone, because the B is a Z now. A search party was seen in the 33,000 block of I-10 near Highway 87, about a mile away from where Brian Simpson was arrested. Authorities did not say anything of significance was found in any of the searches, but still, it's Bernie. What is going on with Texas names? That's Bernie. Okay. What is this? What is this? Scottish or something? It's Bernie. Thanks. Bear and Bernie. And it just looks like Bourne. Bowen. But we're going to continue. Oh, some are German names. Okay. 9. Sie bleiben zu Hause. Let's move on. Shall we? Okay. Okay. We got a little bit of news, so we're going to play. Actually, before we get into that, okay, this is going to be a little bit of a tone shift. I will say that because the mom of Suzanne speaks. Okay. I'm sorry. Is he German? Okay. But let's get into this. Bernie. Okay. Let's take a look at this video.
First and foremost, how are you doing? It's been 1 week since anyone's seen Suzanne.
I'm doing well in the fact that I don't really understand everything that happened. I'm doing well in the fact that I know God, and I'm doing well because Suzanne and I had an opportunity to talk an hour before a lot of this has happened, and I don't understand why and what happened, and I hope someday I'll be able to understand the situation.
You said you had a conversation with her about an hour before she was missing, or the last time she was seen. What was that conversation like?
The conversation was that it all started because she wanted me to take care of her 5-year-old while she went to a party. And so then she decided that she could go to the party after Brad would go to the party, and then she would go, and she could also take the Charlie Ann with her. And then she changed her mind, and when she went to the party, they came back from the party. Now my speculation is maybe the whole thing is alcohol related.
Okay, now hold on, because it is as you can hear, it's kind of like on only one side of the speaker, or like one side of the headphones, just so you guys know, because I know somebody's gonna be like, I can't hear it. Well, it's only one side. I don't know why it's done like that. When they're shooting live, and sometimes they forget to plug something in or put in a certain setting so that it's stereo. So we're only hearing I'm hearing it only on the right side of my head, okay, in my right ear. Okay, but what she's basically saying, which is interesting, is that her theory is that this is all alcohol related, all alcohol induced. But then she said that they were going to go separately. They were going to, she was going to stick around, stay back, be with the 5-year-old, while the while Brad went off to the party, and then she was going to meet up with him at the party, right? But then they went to the party and then came back, and then all this bad stuff happened. And she thinks it's blaming it on the alcohol. She's saying Jamie Foxx right now, blame it on the alcohol. But let's see what else she says, because this is a long video. This is pretty long, so let's take a look.
Because when she got back, she called me up and told me the things that Brad had done to her physically.
Oh, here we go. So she said she called up and then told mama, her own mama, that Brad has been putting his hands on her. That's... Woo.
Well, I came up with an alternative plan for her, and I hoped that she'd move in with me and have her little toddler go to the elementary school in my neighborhood.
Hold on, sorry, really quick. Motive.
I never
Continuing.
got to tell her the plan. I don't know what happened. I think Brad at that time had done the damage. I don't know what happened. Brad, the next day, which was Monday, Brad called me and told me that he got up and took Charlie Ann to school, and Suzanne didn't pick up her. So that was the first time I knew there was something. But I just thought she was, friends. That would be normal. So it took me a little while to come to the conclusion that she would have called me. And so I in my brain felt that she was dead at that point.
Wow. Oh my damn. Okay. So she believes that she's gone. That's what she said. She just said, "Hey, it dang, man. That's heavy." And I mean, let's be real. They're treating it like as such. They're not going to find her alive in the middle of the landfill. I hate to say it like that, but they're looking in a landfill right now. They're not looking in wooded areas and doing, full on boots on the ground searches and around lakes and stuff like that in hopes that this is a rescue and not a recovery. No, they're treating this like a recovery. Let's keep it real.
You said Suzanne called you and told you what Brad had done to her. What did she say?
Yes,
Dang.
she had told me
Crazy.
that he had hurt her arm
Mm.
and hurt her back, and she didn't know quite what she was going to do about that. And so that was the end of that. But I think all the rest of that conversation happened at 10 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock that she said that. And at 10 o'clock, there's the records of whatever happened to her and what Brad did. Brad has always been my friend. I've had high regards for him. I always thought he was a good father. I thought I admired him, and I don't understand what the situation is with him.
This is
Do you
crazy.
think that Brad's responsible for her disappearance?
I agree with that.
What would you say to Brad right now who's not cooperating with investigators?
Yes. I'd tell Brad that I would like to visit with him and ask him why. What happened? I'm shocked. I had a lot of admiration for him. I still plan to be his friend. And I don't know if the alcohol that they had at the party was his problem.
Had there been
Hold up. Let me just say something real quick. Okay? She just said, "I'll still be his friend." Now, I understand she may be godly. Okay? She may have found God. I don't know. She may be very religious, very pious. But hold on. They said, "What would you say to him?" I'd be like, "Give me that mic. Listen, Brad." You know what I mean? I'd be right up in the man. I'd be right up in that camera being like, "I will find you lucky. You got bars separating me and you right now, because I'd be having you talk. Let me tell you something. Okay? We ain't gonna be friends. We ain't friends now, and we definitely ain't gonna be friends when I get done with you." That's what I'd be saying. I'd be talking crazy on that mic if that was my daughter. You see what I'm saying? That's I'm just saying. That's just very man. Come on now. The mic would be sideways like this. You'd be so mad the mic would be this way. You wouldn't be. You'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat you for lunch." You see what I'm saying? That's what would be going on, right? But I get it. She is older. She may not be as passionate as me, okay? But at the same time, he had spitting on the mic, okay? But she may be going through that godly place, that religious spot, that spiritual spot, right? But we damn sure ain't gonna be friends. I'm sorry. With all due respect, we ain't gonna be friends, okay? But let's continue.
Any abuse in the past, any physical altercations between them?
There was one other one that I knew of not too long ago. And I can't really remember too much about that. But after, this is like the next day, Brad and I were together, and I didn't understand, I didn't know this was going on. And I had a little conversation with him. And I said something about Suzanne said, you hurt her arm and another part on her back, And then I mentioned there was something else. And he all of a sudden got a little defensive. And so I said, oh, I think I must be mistaken. And I thought, well, maybe I was mistaken. But I think that was the start of this situation, or the start. And then I didn't know anything more at that point. And so then I've heard a little bit that what's the situation with him, that what the law did, found him, and evidently he's in jail at this point.
How are you doing right now?
Well, it's hard to comprehend it. It's hard to believe it happened. And I don't know, with the 4 children, I'm not so concerned as with the older kids, but for being 5 years old, have a mommy and a daddy. And sort of I wonder where does the money come from at this point when your mother's not alive and your father's in jail?
Okay, I'm going to say this, okay? And I mean all due respect, okay? I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm really not. Because I do feel like a lot of what she's saying right now is just knee-jerk reactions mixed up with pure shock, right? Because instantly I'm thinking, the first thing I'm thinking about is not about the financials. I'm not thinking about, oh, how are the kids going to get by without their you know what I mean? I'm instantly going, well, they don't have their parents. Like, that's the problem. That's the scariest part. And I think everything that she has said in the last 5-6 minutes, almost 6 minutes now, has been almost like she's just still in absolute shock, and it hasn't fully computed yet. This is not reality to her. You know what I'm saying? She hasn't really locked in and realized that this is reality. Because she said even a second ago that she'll still be his friend, right? I'll still be your friend. When in actuality, for a fact, if reality was really setting in, she'd be like, we ain't friends. Okay. You could sit in that place and rot in hell. That's what I think is what is going to happen when she has that moment of clarity, when she has that sobering moment, when she's not in that realm of shock, right? Because I was even shocked when she said, oh, we'll still be friends. No. There's no room for friendship. She just took your daughter's life, or he just took your daughter's life, allegedly. No. But you could tell, like, she's still processing everything, for sure. Because, me, shoot, there would be no shock. Like I said, I'd be spitting on that microphone. Okay. He would know exactly how I feel without any 4-letter words as best as I could. Right. So I think that, everyone deals with trauma and shock and tragedy like this completely different. And I think that's what is going on here. I think she might be feeling like she's in some sort of fever dream. It's like, this can't be real. Outside of body experience type thing, right? But the fact that she's come to realization that her daughter could very well be gone, she's like, I think she's gone. I think she literally has lost her life. Is one thing. I just think she hasn't really fully grasped every nuance to this particular case, and that's tragic too. It's heartbreaking, to be really honest. But let's continue.
And that's just one little probably issue and challenge we'll have from it.
So you don't think Suzanne's alive?
I don't think she is, because I have not heard from her. That's the only reason. Nobody's told me what happened. I've heard a little stuff that what they're trying to do and I've talked with several sheriff people, my story, and it's just unlike her. She was a very positive person. She was a very pleasant person in my life, and when she was a little child, she was just such a joy. And
What do you, the kids, and the family need most right now?
Well, we try to be positive, try to focus on God. I've been in Bible study fellowship for 44 years. They've taught me how to get through difficult situations.
What did I say? What did I say, though? So she's leaning on God right now. She's leaning on God. That's what she's doing right now. That's what she's doing. Okay, first off, let me grab this really quick. Okay, Callie Dime's like, there you go, and there it is. Boom goes the dynamite, right? But Elise said, I disagree with you, Pascal. What? You disagree with me? Okay, let's get into this. She said, she said she believes the daughter is gone. Okay, and she knows he was physical with her daughter and hurt her. She's trying to deal with it in a peaceful way. That's a good point too. Let me just be real, Elise. That's a very, very good point. Okay. And no. I'm not making fun of anybody in faith. No. Not at all. Hold on. Time out. I'm not making fun of anybody and faith. Not at all. If that's how you rock, hey, rock that righteous path, baby. Rock that righteous path. Woo! Enjoy it. Okay. But at the same time, it is very interesting that's one of the reasons why she's so cool, calm, and collected. But it seems a bit it seems disjointed with this whole thing. That's what I'm trying to say, right? But then also, you know what? It's a good point that Elise just said. She knew about the DV. Daughter did tell her about it. She saw the bruises and the markings on her body. She saw how Brad, the husband, reacted to it. Okay, was getting very defensive and all that, and then nothing came of it. Like nothing happened, which is very interesting as well, right? But then I keep looking at this, and this is going to sound crazy, and I don't mean this in any type of way. So hold on, don't at me with this, but maybe mama comes from a different time. I know. A lot of people are like, what does this supposed to mean? Hold on, time out. It not only just the faith, but maybe she comes from a different time. I'm not saying that this is condoned, the DV, but coming up in a different time could be a part of a reason why she didn't react in the way that we react today, right? That could very well be what it is too, where she's like, oh, it's just, I know that sounds crazy. I know, but hold on, time out. But she may think, okay, they'll work this out. They're going to get through that. They're going to work this out. That doesn't excuse any of the behavior, but it may be because of the place in her life, when she was born and the times that she was brought up, and when she was married and with a husband and having children and all that as well. That could be very well it, as far as the DV stuff goes. But as far as her daughter's life being taken by this man, she's sitting here going, faith. I'm leaning on faith. We could still be friends, so on and so forth, which she's taking that righteous path, which to me is shocking. Because she's very calm. But she's saying through Bible study, through her, through her faith, she's been able to go through, she's walking through this trauma with God. Okay. If that's what it is, then that's what it is. But it like I said, it still seems a bit like shock to me still. But at the same time, if it's just faith that's keeping her humming on the righteous path, then hey, I guess do you, right? Let's continue, though. Let's continue.
They've taught me about the power of God. And I have a lot of questions that have not been answered. I'll never understand it until I get to really talk to Brad. Maybe he can explain to me what happened to him.
Is there anything you say to Suzanne right now if she could hear you?
Suzanne, we love you. We need you. And we pray for you.
Can you talk to us about the difficulty of this week for you and everyone involved?
I think the hardest part is so many people are calling me and asking me, and I'm happy to share, but it's not a short story. And so I had an opportunity to be with a group this afternoon, and they didn't know about the circumstances, and I didn't want them to know. Not that I didn't want to have to take the time to explain it. So I've got telephone calls coming from all over the United States, and it's such a complicated story. I don't mind sharing the story, but how to make it short enough so I can have everybody understand what's going on.
Just your thoughts on tonight's turnout and then the immense support all around the globe and social media about this case.
Oh, this is a beautiful evening. I'm so impressed with it, and I hope that somehow or another this will help us get through it, and hopefully for Suzanne, I don't know how it is for her and what she went through in the torture. I felt like she must have gone through a lot of torture from what little I've read about the neighbors, what the neighbors have said. And I'm very thankful for this evening. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you all being interested, and that I can share my story with her, with you all about her.
What do you think of the support of everyone, everybody coming together in prayer for her?
Yeah, well, prayer is powerful, and I just trust God. And I just, the Bible, they had a lot of good scripture here that you could count on making your health, mentally healthier. And, but basically, I think the bottom line is I just don't understand. I don't understand why it happened. It wasn't part of their life or his behavior. And I've known him a long time. I mean, I've known him since they were in college together. And he came from an outstanding family. And he was a brilliant guy in many ways. And I never really thought of him as being to do anything like this.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Okay. It still feels like it's shock. Like it still feels like she's in shock, in my personal opinion. And yes, I yeah, I have a strong relationship with my faith. It's just that I don't run and throw it in everybody's face and all that stuff. Doesn't mean that I got to be in church every single day saying praise the Lord, but I also can see BS from a mile away with some of these pastors out here that talk about the Lord and then say, give me money. You know what I mean? Like I know the con. Okay. We all know the con. Let's be real. Okay. If we're talking about faith and whether I have faith or not, I have faith. Okay. I just don't have to prove that to you or anyone else. But at the same time, not everybody reacts like this. Not everybody reacts like this when they lose a loved one. I'm sorry. There's just no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'd lean on faith. I'd be praying and all that stuff. But honestly, woo, you would not like me when I'm angry. No, no, no. Now, when it comes to somebody that is my child, right? Or my loved one. So how she's reacting, it is shockingly calm. It is shockingly a bit disjointed. You know what I'm saying? It just seems a bit disjointed, in my personal opinion. Sure, she could be leaning on faith all day long, but I'm going, but bruh, whoa, this is a little off. This is kind of off, though. You feel me? Just a tiny bit. You know what I mean? With all due respect, like I said, and not trying to be mean. Okay. But it is, to me, going, okay, this seems like shock. Because it's also disbelief. Let's not forget that, too. She's leaning on her belief in her faith, but she's also in disbelief of the person that did this unthinkable thing. think about that too. Because she even said he comes from a great family. He's always been kind. He's so brilliant. He's this, and this. I just can't believe it's just such a disbelief for her, which is understandable. There's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with her being in disbelief, but that is part of a little bit of shock too. And I think at some point, maybe she'll continue staying just like this, right? Calm, cool, calm, and collected. But there may be a moment where she feels different. You got to remember this. This is an ongoing journey that she's going to be going through. The grieving process is going to be rocky. You know what I mean? But of course, I'm sure she's going to lean on faith, which is, there's nothing wrong with that at all. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just surprised. It's very much like, to me, it just seems shock. But that's just me. You know what I mean? It just seems like that. But anyway, wow.
Any of the kids or to his wife. I don't understand it.
How are the kids? How are your grandchildren?
Well, right now, we're just doing the best we can. And
I'm going to put this in consideration too. She may be sleep deprived, lack of sleep, stressed out. There's depression, all these things that are going on in her body. And then so it's almost like she's, like I said, it's like she's disconnected, emotionally callous, emotionally just done. You know what I mean? Just gone, shocked, doesn't even know what to say, but she's trying to get through it and answer these questions. You know what I mean? And of course, yes, let's not forget she is older. That is true as well. But it's like I said, this is a very interesting case study of just the human condition, especially when it comes to a tragedy like this, right?
I guess they're all having to deal with it their own way, and whatever I can do to help them, I would be happy to do that. So that's hard to know exactly how they're doing. And
Have you talked to them? What have they told you?
they haven't told me anything yet. I've talked to them, and we haven't talked about it in detail, like exactly what happened or why it happened or how do you feel about it. And maybe we will be able to do that. And hopefully Brad can be part of this, so he understands what happened and so we can understand him. This is not normal behavior for him.
No, I'm sorry. No, not for me. But at the same time, hey, if that's how she wants to rock, that's how she wants to rock. But I just don't see how it's like we're all going to come together and talk. Not off the bat, not right off the bat. I'm sorry, not initially. You know what I mean? To me, okay. With all due respect, all right. I'm like I said, not knocking the grandmother. Okay, not knocking Suzanne's mom. She's going through a lot, right? But even in my mind, I'm going, I would never give this person, the monster that did this to my daughter, the okay, the thumbs up, like it's fine what you did. I forgive you right off the bat. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that you know what I'm saying? It would take a miracle for me to be able to turn to someone who just did something so unthinkable and say, okay, let's all sit down and talk about this and pray over it. I couldn't do it, but that's just me, right? Some other people are able to move forward and do that, but that would be really, really hard for me to do. Okay. That would take me more than just a couple years. Okay. Shoot. I don't think that would to me, I'm like, you locked up, good, out of sight, out of mind. I wouldn't want to have to deal with him, and nor would I even give him the pleasure of having to be around his children. Bye. If the children don't want to be around you, why do we need to bring them to you? You know what I'm saying? You in jail because of what you did, kind of thing, right? But I think this is all shock. But let's continue. We got a few more seconds left.
For those at home watching this, is there anything you say to them right now?
I just thank everybody for being so kind and interested and trying to do what they can. And I appreciate that so much. And this evening, I appreciate this evening. It was a beautiful evening.
Okay. But then, there's another part of me that goes, maybe there's mental health issues going on here too with the grandma. I don't know. But again, nonetheless, very unorthodox. Okay. She said this is a very beautiful evening. Yeah, even my dog said, what? Yeah. He said, stop with that. I'm still wondering about that too. Okay. I don't know. Maybe there could be mental health going on here. Instantly she says, yeah, it's a beautiful evening. This is not a beautiful evening. You see what I'm saying? It's not a beautiful evening. So, but then again, this could be mental health issues. It could honestly be how she perceives life. She may not have any mental health issues at all, but it is very shocking and very unorthodox, I think, this interview, uh, especially just given the information that we've known so far. A bit, yeah, it's bizarre, it's disconnected, but then at the same time, people react in very different ways, especially when they're dealing with any type of trauma or any type of tragedy, and that could be something that we just saw, right? Somebody who is just still kind of in denial. It hasn't fully sinked in, even though it has sunk in. But I don't know. Still very tragic, nonetheless. Now, still very tragic and still very questionable what we just saw, right? But of course, she doesn't have to answer to us, right? I hope that she finds peace, and of course, we're hoping that we find the daughter, of course, Suzanne Simpson. But yeah, that was just a different one for me. Very much a different one. Rianne, thank you so much. My daughter asks if you deliver to the UK. Yes, I do. I do deliver to the UK. Okay. She wants a t-shirt for her friend when she's there. Much love, brother. Heart emoji. Yes, we deliver over there. Okay. It won't be me delivering it. Obviously, I can't do that. But yes, there's this thing called UPS or international mail. Okay. Those guys who drop off those weird things, those oblong white containers made of paper that have things in it called letters. They have a lot of them, and they walk around and they drop them off in a bunch of things called, like, they look like boxes. They're called mailboxes. Yeah. Yeah, they can drop it off for you. I know a couple, I got that hookup. I got that plug. You feel me? But yes, we can. All right. We can. All right. Let's see. Grace, thank you so much. My best friend was brutally emmed at 15. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. She was only a child. I lost my faith while her mother's grew, and it's what got her through it. Absolutely. See what I'm saying? Like, everyone, they will find their connection in some sort of way. You know what I mean? Some people are faith adjacent, meaning they're not, they believe, but they're not all the way in it, right? And then there's some people who are just all up in it. They're doing Bible studies and going to church every Sunday and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And then there's everybody on the outside of that perimeter, of that spectrum, and in between, right? Within the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, right? But if that's how you want to roll, that's how you want to roll, right? So that's what it is. But let's take a look at this, because there's some updates. There's some stuff going on, talking about the landfill search that's going on right now as we speak, or still going on. I'm sure they're going to be wrapping up for the night. But this was going on while we were live going through the timeline and all that. And of course, before we get into that, let me see where we're at as far as the likes go. Let's get the 400 likes. We're almost at 400. Okay. So hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Crush it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We talk about everything on this channel. A lot of things that have to do with true crime, to pop culture, even a little bit of politics as well. I may be, and here's the thing, I may be doing a full-on election day watch party thing where we'll watch the numbers and all that stuff like one big fair day, right? So I'm really looking forward to possibly doing that, but it will be a big event, right? Because we're only a few weeks away from election day. Okay, it's almost election day. Can you believe it? It's almost election day, y'all. Damn. Okay. So just so you know. My plan was to do some big, huge like election day thing, get some friends in and out throughout the whole day, watch this thing and see who ends up winning and winning the election. Of course, I gotta go vote, of course, but then I'd be here and then we'd watch the whole thing go down, right? So it'd be, yeah, that's gonna be an interesting experience. All right. But let's take a look at this. Just wanted to give you guys that heads up, because that's coming up very soon. It's coming up in a couple weeks. Next thing you know, it's Halloween and then boom, it's election day. It's going to be crazy. Okay. Yes, of course, I'll be using my sounds then. Are you kidding me?
What do you think I'm gonna do? You think I'm not gonna use this? Are you insane? Jesus.
Yeah. So of course I'm going to use this stuff. Okay. So let's get into this, right? These
Things are awesome. I love it. Are you kidding me? This is dope. Why did it take me this long to find this? Real talk. Oh, it's crazy. Oh yeah. Chicka-chicka. Oh yeah. Okay.
we're done. Let's get back into this. I'm having way too much fun with that. Hold on. Clean up in aisle 7. Clean up in aisle 7. Hello, shoppers. Thank you so much for being here. There is a blue sale on tuna. Yummy yummers. Okay, I'm done now. Let's get into this. Never a dull moment, y'all. Never a dull moment. And where is the sound? Hold on. Where the heck is the sound, man? Where is the sound? Hold on one second, guys. Let me refresh this. That's very odd. Come on. I think my computer didn't like the sound effects that I was doing. And now it's like, nah, we're just going to make your life live in hell. Hold on. Why is this not working? It's suddenly not working now. What the hell is going on? Let's try this again. One second, guys. I'm sorry. Let me get this right. But again, I appreciate everybody being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hold on. I'm just trying to fix something. I don't know why it's not working, but it's being weird. So Try this again. Okay, there's that. So why is it not working? Oh. Let's see about this. Okay, let's try this again. Unless they took out the sound for some weird reason. There we go. See, I had it all queued up and everything now. Damn, that's really annoying. Hold on. I'm going to find something else then, because this is not being my friend. All queued up and everything.
At first at 5, she hasn't been seen in more than a week, and the search for a missing Almost Park mother of 3 has spawned far and wide across Bexar County and beyond. Today, the search for Suzanne Simpson continues at yet another new location. Today, Texas Rangers and a Bexar County Mobile Command Center are focusing on a landfill in southeast Bexar County.
Now, we are not disclosing the exact location of that landfill at the request of detectives that are hoping to preserve the integrity of this investigation. But our John Paul Barajas is there live right now. So, John Paul, what have you seen out there this afternoon?
Steve, Myra, since we've been out here, we've seen the bulldozer push through and move around a lot of the garbage and waste. They also have an excavator that's up top of the hill, along with what looks like to be a grid outlined in yellow caution tape. As for boots on the ground, they are done with their search for the day. But while they were here, it was difficult to see just because of our vantage point, and they were on top of the hill and also on the other side of the hill. So we fired up the KSAT-12 drone just to get a better picture of how big and really was this entire search. And a Texas Ranger on scene told us probably 30 minutes before the show that at this time they have not found anything, and that crews have been out here since about 10 this morning. When we asked if they were looking for Suzanne, evidence, or both here, the Ranger could not give us an answer. And when we asked what might have led them to this location, all he could say was that it was evidence. Again, Suzanne was last seen 2 Sundays ago in a black dress and black heels. So far, we know officials have searched the Simpsons' Almost Park home, that neighborhood, an empty field next to a shopping center in Bernie, and now here this landfill in southeast Bexar County. Back out here, the mobile command unit is still here, and they are expected to continue their search at this location tomorrow morning. An exact time was not given. Of course, we'll monitor everything and bring you an update as soon as it's available. Steve, Myra.
Let's see what else they got.
Search for missing Almost Park mom Suzanne Simpson now appears to be a recovery mission. That's based on a letter the police chief sent to his whole community. A handful.
See, not a rescue, but now for sure a recovery. That's big. Okay.
Almost Park residents sent us that letter, which explains why investigators have descended on a landfill in southeast Bexar County.
Well, in a statement released to the city residents by Almost Park Police Chief Vidal Villegas, officials said evidence, statements, and further police investigation led officers to that landfill. And in that statement, Almost Park PD said in part, quote, "We feel confident there is a good chance of recovering Suzanne at that location, end quote.
Now, again, I'm wondering, what is it that makes them believe that they know for a shadow, without a shadow of a doubt, that she is there? You got to remember, Husby is not helping out. He's not cooperating whatsoever. So how do they know for sure that she is in this landfill? What is the thing? What is the smoking gun evidence that gave them? What is the scent that they got that made them go, we got to go here? The only other thing I can think of is kind of like what happened with Quentin Simon, right? We never heard about everything until we heard the opening statements from the prosecution, which was very damning and was hilarious, by the way. Not theirs, but the defense's opening statement was absolute trash, and it was literally less than 3 minutes, to be really honest. But if you really think about it, what did they do? They were able to follow and track Leilani's cell phone. They were able to get cameras in the area in which that car went to go and drop off or toss that young boy's body into a dumpster. So there's a good possibility that they did the same thing, right? They followed the car. The car went off to a particular area and then discarded the body in this dumpster or in a particular area where the remains got picked up and then got moved on out there. There's a possibility of that, right? And of course, they're saying, hey, we believe that he moved the body and put her here. That's why they're saying they're so confident. That could be it too. Or they got a tip. They may have gotten the tip from somebody. That's a possibility too. But I feel like that is going to be information that we may not know, right? We may not know that truth until the actual trial, whenever he sees the inside of a courtroom, right? And if he doesn't say, I'm guilty, if he's like, I'm going to fight this, which is insane because most, even with Leilani's case, she's sitting there and she's fighting it, right? She's like, I'm innocent. No, you're not. You did that, right? It's pretty insane when you see guilty people trying everything they can to show that they're not guilty when their guilty is sin. So this is the same situation, I think, right? And I think this is going to be, I'm hoping that this gets wrapped up very, very soon, meaning that they find her very soon, but there's many chances that might not happen, right? Even with Quentin Simon's situation, his remains it wasn't like they found all of him. They found pieces of him because of how long it took for them to find him. And of course, where they were, right? They were in a landfill. You got to remember all those things are getting moved around. Tractors and stuff like that. Machines are driving over these things and dumping things on top of things over and over and over again. So imagine the same situation here, right? This man discarded his own wife in soot, dirt, trash. It's unbelievable. So this may take a lot longer than we actually think.
Our Katrina Weber is live where day 2 of the landfill search has begun. And Katrina, we know you've been there for hours now. Are there any updates this morning?
Well, we have not had any briefing officially from police at this point, but we definitely have seen some physical changes. Let me point your attention to what's going on that hill behind us. Now, that's the area that yesterday, 24 hours ago, it was just mapped out as sort of a grid. There was yellow tape around that square area, but you can see things have changed considerably in the last 24 hours. We have people on that hill. They have been using that excavator that you see there to dig out what looks like trash that was buried in that area, and they're loading it onto the back of that dump truck. The dump truck then going up the hill where it is dumping out the contents, and the people like that person you see in the white with the orange shoes, they're sorting through the trash at the top of the hill. This has been going on all morning long. Now, the chief, in his letter that he sent to the community, also took time to thank all of the law enforcement officers that have been out here. Those people in the white and orange, according to a post on social media from the police chief of San Antonio, William McManus, he says says that those are all cadets with the SAPD, with the police department from San Antonio. But of course, this operation has been under the direction of the Almost Park Police, because that is where this case originated. Of course, 51-year-old Suzanne Clark Simpson has been missing since Sunday of last week. According to police, there was a violent argument that turned into a fight involving her 53-year-old husband, Brad Simpson. He is now in jail. He's been there since last week. He's charged with charges that are related to family violence, nothing to do with her disappearance. But this search is going on. It's been here since yesterday morning. They've been looking in this landfill. We were told for evidence, but now, according to that letter that has been sent out to residents, it looks like they may be, in fact, looking for Suzanne Simpson herself. So,
yeah, I was going to say, why would they go? I mean, with all due respect, why would they go through a whole landfill just to find evidence? You know, like to find the kniff. You know what I mean, or to find the pew pew. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I get the pew pew and but at the same time, it's like, really, you're going to go through all of that just to find that one little piece of no. They're out there trying to find her. Okay, let's keep it a bean, and that's terrible. All right, but they are definitely trying to recover. They're not trying to rescue. They're trying to find her, and I'm hoping that they do very, very soon. Because still, no matter what, this is absolutely tragic. This is frustrating. This is aggravating. This is everything that I feel that all of us can put every single adjective we can think of into it. Every negative adjective we can think of to describe this whole situation. And I feel like it still wouldn't suffice, because honestly, this should not have happened. In fact, it is frustrating that there was at least conversation or acknowledgement of something bad happening, that she was going through something bad with her husband. That should not be happening. And I get it. Everyone deals with it differently, but I just wish that the people on the receiving end were able to do something about it. And I get a lot of people is like, oh, that's their business. I don't want to get all in that. I don't want to be, that's their business. They need to handle it themselves. I get that piece. But at the same time, now we're in a world where situations like this happen, right? There's a full-on heads up. Hey, I'm in hell. My husband's doing this, or my wife is doing this. I need help. The only reason why they're saying it out loud is because they're looking for help. They need help. They want help. They want somebody to help them get out. And instead, 9 times out of 10, really, I hate to say it like that, but it's true. People look at that and go, okay, what do I do? What do I do about that? And then they don't do anything about it because they don't want to get in the middle of it. They don't want to have any problems. They don't want that drama. They don't want their drama that couple's drama to get into their own personal drama. You see what I'm saying? I know that there's no surefire way. There's no answer to any of this stuff. But at the same time, there's got to be something figured out as soon as possible. Because, again, people will err on the side of caution for themselves because they are scared of the retaliation, scared of, oh, he or she is putting their hands on their loved one, on my friend. And if they're violent with them, they might be violent to me. I don't want that stuff either. You know what I mean? And I get that. But at the same time, there's got to be something done. Okay? Something's got to be done. And yes, Spunky, it's exactly like, it's stopping the cycle, right? It's stepping forward, getting in the middle of it and stopping it from transpiring even more, to the point where your friend, your loved one, disappears, like right now. So there's got to be something. We all should be mindful of this. This should be a cautionary tale for every single last one of us, because we also hear parents getting phone calls, being on the receiving end of this kind of conversation, hearing from their loved one, their daughter or their son saying, hey, it's tough at home right now. We're constantly at each other and it's getting bad, right? And what happens? A lot of times we get this situation where it's the parents will sit there and go, oh, well, it'll work itself out. I'll just sit back and wait. It'll work itself out. When in actuality, now more than ever, maybe it is the time to get proactive instead of just sitting on the sidelines, knowing their little secret and then not doing anything about it. You know, it's another thing too. It's some people will sit there and just step back and just watch from the sidelines. They know the dirty little secret, but they don't do anything. They don't even at least go up to the person who's actually, putting the hands on the friend and just basically say like, what's wrong with you, man or woman? What's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? I know you put your hands on that person again, you're going to hear from me. In fact, you're not going to hear from me. You're going to hear from 5-0. That's it. You see what I'm saying? And I know that's not the easiest thing. I know that doesn't answer that's not the answer to everything. Sometimes that can make things worse. And that's one thing I think a lot of people get scared about, right? That suddenly that person retaliates even harder now because it's like, oh, you told her, you told him, whatever, right? But at the same time, there's got to be a stop at some point because we got to stop having situations like Suzanne Simpson's going on here. It could be a Sean Simpson too. Happens to men too. But I think it's very important that we realize that when somebody actually is speaking out to you and saying this thing, this dirty little secret that they go through, that they're screaming for help. And they're hoping that you are that salvation, that door towards freedom. So now it's time to get proactive, guys. We should have been proactive before, but even more than ever, it is time to take matters into our own hands in the most diplomatic and safest way possible. I'm not saying go out here and do like Jennifer Lopez and enough. All right. I ain't saying that. Okay. I'm saying we got to find ways to do this so that no one gets hurt. If justice needs to be served, justice gets served. But let the justice and the systems that are built around justice do the job for you. I'm praying that this woman is found. I wish it didn't turn into this situation. I really hate it, right? But at the same time, we should all be looking at this not only with prayers and hopes for her remains to be found soon and justice being served to this monster, but also as a cautionary tale for all of us. When somebody's saying something, we should listen and see if we can do anything in our power in the best, safest way possible to help them get away from those nasty, disturbing, violent clutches that they are being held into. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. I may be on in a little bit, in a couple hours. We got some other stuff we got to talk about, and it was a late start of the day for me. But I do have some videos on my secondary channel that I definitely want you guys to go check out. So please go check it out because there's something that is going on with the Menendez brothers. And there's an update revolving around that. And there may be a press conference tomorrow for that. So please go check it out. It's on the secondary channel, The Pascal Show Clips. But before we get going, okay, please do me the solid. Hit that like button down below. Please and thank you. Crush it, please. Crush that mother-loving like button. If you're watching on other platforms, make sure you hit that reaction button. That'll be greatly appreciated. Please do not forget to crush that follow button on everything. I'm on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Rumble. Please follow on Rumble and all the other platforms. Please and thank you. Don't forget to subscribe here to my main channel if you're watching on the tubes, on the YouTubies. Okay? Hit that subscribe button here. Go to my secondary channel. Please make sure you are subscribed to the secondary channel, dagnabbit. The Pascal Show clips, please and thank you. Of course, support the channel if you want by hitting that join button down below. Become a member. Become that member. That'd be greatly appreciated. If you want to support even further, check out my Patreon and Locals. Patreon is patreon.com/The Pascal Show and locals.com/The Pascal Show. Those are two platforms. You can support on either one. Choose at your leisure. And of course, do not forget to check out pascalmerch.com. Check this out, y'all. Look at this. Blah down. Ain't that dope? Okay? Math Ain't Mathin' and many other amazing graphic tees, hoodies, etc. You name it. It's over there on pascalmerch.com. Go check it out. You'll love it. Your body will love it because it'll be on your body. It'll keep you warm. It'll make you look good too at the same damn time. Ain't that dope? Okay? Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Have a great rest of your night. I will see you guys in a couple hours because we do have some things to talk about for sure. So I'll see you guys in a couple hours. Much love to you guys. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.